What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. We're here on a Memorial Day. We're not working today, but we went ahead and had a lunch hour so we could spend some time with you. After last night's incredible show on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. So awesome to kind of get to talk to everybody there. It was really cool to have Justin Cutler in the comments as we were talking about the Alex Kazan situation last night. His perspective on the whole situation was really cool. And if you missed that part, I highly suggest you go back and check that out and see what Justin had to say about all that. Because while everything seems to have turned out okay, it might not have. And he's definitely using that as a teaching point and a lesson learned with Alex over this whole thing and her story with the gummy. So with that, it's time for the dart throw. It's Memorial Day. Maybe today is the day I can drill this. So here we go. Damn it. I'm close. It's not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and show you where we landed. And so there's the picture. I don't know if you can kind of see it off there, just off to the right, a tiny bit from the bullseye, but we are getting close. Maybe I'll get one of these sometime soon. So yeah, last night's show was awesome. We played a game called Fact or Fiction, which really got Carolyn fired up when we asked the last question. And it was really about the perceptions around the CrossFit space. So if you did not see that, again, last night was a really good episode. We had some interesting people in the chat. We had a really good time last night. It's Memorial Day weekend. I think some people were hanging out a little bit longer last night as they didn't have to get up for work. But the first thing I did this morning is I got up and I did my Murph. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a little bit, really feeling it in the legs. And so what I decided to do this year was to scale it in a way that fit me best. And so what I did is I did an 800-meter 800-meter jog walk. And I took Walter for a walk on that 800 meters, came in and then did the other half of the mile on a bike. Then I started to work on the Cindy version of ring rows, push-ups, and air squats. And I got about 70 push-ups in, and they were starting to go. So I actually went to knee push-ups from that point on. So got through all of that. Then I did a half a mile on the bike and then headed out, grabbed Walter. We went on another 800-meter walk jog, and I finished up. And it took me about an hour 20 to do everything this morning. But we got it in the books, and I was able to honor the soldiers today on Memorial Day, which is what it's all about. The people who have fought for our freedoms in this country, and all the people that we have lost in their effort to do so. And Jason Ackerman posted this morning on his Instagram, and I want to share that because I love the sentiment behind this. And it says, you can scale Murph, you can partition, you can do half. Just remember, it's not about the workout. And I think that says it pretty eloquently. And that's kind of the attitude I took to do it this morning. Was I'm here to honor the fallen soldiers. Anybody who is a vet and who's making that sacrifice today or has already made that sacrifice, they deserve me spending an hour and 20 minutes doing something that hurts a little bit. And it'll probably hurt for a couple days, but it can't hurt as bad as some of the things that they've been through. And so that was what we did today. So super pumped for that. I did it last year, I think late after Memorial Day, because I'm usually at an event on Memorial Day weekend. And and so there was a lot of years I didn't get it in because of all of the traveling and um, standing around that we do on cement. But this year I was able to kind of schedule it, figure out how I was going to do it, and I got to do it with my little buddy Walter today, and he was awesome through the whole thing. And yeah, we had a good time, and it's actually pretty nice today. It's in the 60s. I got to do that this morning, so not too hot, and got through everything pretty easily. But the squats are going to be hurting me soon, and my shoulders are going to hurt from the push-ups for sure. But yeah, we got it in. Hope you got yours in. We talked about that last night. Jamie and Carolyn did their versions over the weekend. Jamie did it unpartitioned this year with a vest, just because she is a complete savage and is able to do so, and she killed it. She PR'd it. If I tried to do it unpartitioned, you'd need a calendar to time me, because the push-ups would just 200 straight push-ups would kill me. Just a lot of mass for me to be lifting up that many times. So the partition thing works for me. It helps me get some things loosened up. I can swing my arms around on the air squats a little bit to get those loosened up and get back to doing push-ups. So hope you have a great one. Hope you have a great Memorial Day today. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to do today, I haven't been doing a lot of top fives. I did one last week, but I wanted to do one for picnic foods, because one of the best things to do on Memorial Day is to spend time with family, and have some picnic foods. Oh, Kenneth says, Volume and me don't get along much anymore. Yeah, I'm actually, for a big guy, I like long workouts that I can just get to a steady pace. The sprint workouts get me much harder these days than that. And maybe, I don't know how old you are, Kenneth, but like at 55, like just a good, nice, long paced workout is not bad for me. I actually really enjoy it. It's the 10 to 15 minute where I've got to go a lot harder that gets me real quick. So today was actually kind of enjoyable. Like I really did kind of enjoy just kind of hanging out with my earbuds in, doing my thing, walking the dog. It was really, really cool. So anyway, top five picnic foods that I've got to have at my Memorial Day picnic. Honorable mention, I love a good baked bean, but it's got to be my baked beans. I love the way I cook my baked beans, and I actually put sausage into my baked beans when I cook them. So I chop up sausage pretty fine. I'm usually in a casing, that kind of sausage, and I chop it up into the baked beans, a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of mustard, a little bit of brown sugar, and I do all that up, and then I bake them for a good 90 minutes to get it kind of caramelized and stuff in there. And that is my honorable mention picnic food. So you see where we're going here. Now we're going to go to the top five. Top five, number 5 all-time picnic food is the hot dog. Got to have a hot dog. Grilled hot dogs are so much better. Actually, over an open flame is even better than that. If you can get an over the open flame hot dog and we have like a fire pit in my backyard, get a stick, get a hot dog, get it over there. Perfect hot dog. Throw that in a bun. I am not a mustard guy. I am an onion ketchup guy with some cheese. That's my favorite. Or if you have a good chili sauce, I don't mind a really good chili coney dog. That's good too. So number 5 on my list is the hot dog. Number 4 is the veggie pizza. If you've ever seen it with the crescent dough, you have like a dill creamy sauce over it, and then you put chopped up fresh vegetables over the top. That is the veggie pizza. That would be my dessert for my picnic. That is sweet enough for me. I don't need anything sweeter than that. That would be my dessert on my picnic. Yeah, the broccoli ones. Sometimes there's broccoli on it. Sometimes there's like shredded carrot. Sometimes there's cauliflower. Yeah, just fresh vegetables. Sometimes tomato. You can put whatever you want on it. That's kind of the cool thing about the veggie pizza. It's whatever fresh veggies you have. The fresher, the better. So that is number 4. Number 3 is macaroni salad. My Mama Schweitzer's macaroni salad is so freaking good. Every time she has it, I am uncontrollable around it. My wife has almost perfected the recipe. Actually, she has kind of perfected the recipe. And she makes it just as good, but I cannot have it in the house. So it is we make it and then we get rid of it. But it is Mama Schweitzer's recipe for macaroni salad. I don't know why it's different than other ones, but it's just creamier and it doesn't have as much of that like mustard flavor to it. But I really, really love it and her macaroni salad. Number 2 on the all-time picnic list is coleslaw. I am a coleslaw fanatic. I don't care if it's the vinegar based or the cream based or whatever. Whenever I am at a restaurant and that is an option for my side, I get coleslaw. Coleslaw is just one of my favorite things in the world. So of course I'm going to want coleslaw on my picnic. That would be number 2 on the list of all-time picnic foods. Then number 1, without a doubt, is the hamburger. I could eat hamburgers every single day of my life. I love hamburgers. I can eat them without a bun. I can eat them with a bun. I can eat them just plain. And I am that guy. I think I've said it on this show that if it is a really, really good burger, I don't even need condiments. I just want to taste the flavor of the meat. And that is by far my number 1 picnic food of all time. And that's it. Yeah. And if it's a good burger, I don't need much on it. But if I'm going to do just a standard, I want a little bit of American cheese and I want a little bit of Miracle Whip and some pickles and a fresh garden ripe tomato. That is the ultimate burger for me. Pickles, garden ripe tomato, and some Miracle Whip, maybe a little bit of ketchup. That's about it. And again, if it is really good, I don't need the Miracle Whip and ketchup. The pickles, tomato, I'm good. Kenneth DeLapp didn't realize how much I like picnic foods. Dang, all this all sounds good. Jay Birch, coleslaw, banana pudding, brisket, or sausage Waldorf salad. Sausage Waldorf salad. I don't think I've ever heard of that combination. Brisket. It's weird. Like I love brisket. I wouldn't, for some reason in my head, I think of picnic as different than barbecue. I don't know why. I think that, but because I love a good brisket. If it's a really good, moist, juicy brisket, like there's nothing better in this world. But in my head, I'm thinking barbecue, not picnic. And I will admit, I'm probably wrong on that. Anyway, getting all choked up about that. And I said, like, I'm probably wrong on that. And brisket would be a picnic food. I just, yeah. Thoughts on deviled eggs? I love a good deviled egg. That's probably right there in my, that's inside, outside my top 5. I just for some reason, didn't think of it. I love deviled eggs. My daughter and I joke that if my wife makes them, nobody else will get any. Kenneth loves a good brisket, don't we all? Mama Schweitzer's in the chat, bread pudding for dessert. And I love my mom's bread pudding, but I don't think of it as a picnic food. Again, if you missed it, Mom, I am using the veggie pizza as my dessert for my picnic. That is as sweet as I really need to get for a picnic. I don't need something super sweet. So I'm going to use the veggie pizza for my dessert. And my mom calls deviled eggs inliners, and that means that they're the food you can eat while waiting in line for the rest of the food. You just grab a couple deviled eggs and pop them in your mouth while you're waiting to get through the rest of the line. So, if you guys have any other thoughts on what are good picnic foods, that's that. If I were going to pick barbecue, maybe I'll do a barbecue list at some point. But yeah, I like banana pudding. My wife does not like bananas at all. Anything banana, she is out on. And I know Jay Birch said banana pudding. I know that's a big Southern thing too. And so, and my best friend loves banana pudding. It's one of his like favorite things in the world. And I love it, but my wife just is not. I'm never going to have it at my house. If my wife doesn't like the food, we never get to see it on the shopping list. And my mom can attest to that. I haven't got to eat a pea in like years. Jell-O used to be picnic food, right? See, it's so weird. Like I correlate things to different things. Jell-O, or the generic Knox blocks, when I was a kid, was a swimming food. When I would go to swim meets, I would eat like these square Knox blocks or Jell-O all day long. That's what sustained my energy when I was swimming, and I would eat them nonstop all day long. So I don't ever think of it as a picnic thing. And if there's a Jell-O type dessert or Jell-O something at the picnic, I avoid it because it's a reminder of my swimming days. And I would overeat the Knox blocks on swimming days to the point where I really didn't want them any other time of the year. Kenneth says boiled peanuts, never had them both, but the South loves them. I've had boiled peanuts when I lived in the panhandle of Florida for 4 years. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Who wants a soggy peanut? The reason I eat a peanut is to get the crunch. And when you boil the peanut, it's not crunchy anymore. Now, you're supposed to slurp the water, and it's supposed to give you this salty something or other. Yeah, not a fan. But if you travel I-10 from Jacksonville to New Orleans, you'll see boiled peanut stands on about every couple miles on the side of the road. I'm with Jay Birch. They're gross. They are slimy. That, and you'll see fried okra everywhere too on that same trip. Every gas station has fried okra. And talk about slimy. Okra is about as slimy as the boiled peanut. So, yeah, travel I-10, you'll get all of that stuff. So the last thing I want to talk about today, and then I'll take any of the questions you guys have for me, about anything in the world. We have a little bit of extra time today. Any question you have, throw me a question in the chat and I'll answer it. But before I get to that part, I just wanted to give you a little heads up. I'm going to talk about the Syndicate Crown because it was my plan to be at the Syndicate Crown. And I just want to give you a little peek into my life and why I probably am not going to make it to the Syndicate Crown this weekend. It was my plan to do that. As you all know, my wife went through total knee replacement surgery on May 6th. The plan was that she could possibly be recovered by the time that I had to go to the Syndicate Crown. She was going to come down with me in the car because the operation is on her right knee, and it means that she cannot drive. While her flexion is almost at goal, which she's supposed to get to 100 degrees of flexion and then to zero to 120. She is at 0 and she's at like 116 degrees. So she's only like 4 degrees away from full flexion in her knee already. And tomorrow will mark 3 weeks post-op. She doesn't have the acumen yet to be able to go from brake to gas, that flick of the ankle left to right. While she can go straight ahead with the flexion, she's good, but that twist of the ankle, she doesn't have yet. So I cannot leave her for days without the ability to drive. In addition, she's still having some pain in the knee where she has to get it elevated. So 6 hours in a car from here to Knoxville doesn't seem to make sense at this moment. Now, if things change this week, we can hop in the car. We can get to Knoxville for at least a couple days this weekend because she's off of work. So she doesn't even have to take time off. It would only be me, and I have plenty of vacation time to do that. But it's looking like just with this season of life, and I knew that coming into this season that I probably would not be traveling as much because of everything that she had to go through. We've been fighting for years for her to get these surgeries. And when we finally got approved, that became the priority, not me getting to semifinal events, not me getting to qualifying events, as much as I would love to be there. From 2020 to this year, I have been to every North American semifinal except for the West Coast Classic last year. It just doesn't look like it's going to be in the cards for me. I missed Mayhem. I'm most likely going to miss Syndicate. And that's just where we are. That's where we are with our lives. And for her to get back to fully functioning with 2 great legs. So, again, I can't leave her with the inability to drive, and she can't come with me if she can't elevate the leg for 6 hours straight. And then to be in a hotel room without all of the equipment and stuff that we have for her would be really, really difficult. And the ability to ice and do all of those things. So unless there's a dramatic change in her recovery this week, it looks like I'm going to miss being there in person. And I'm really going to miss it. But again, I know that this is more important. My wife's health is more important than me getting to Syndicate. But what that means is I'm going to be at the games. I'm going to be at the age group games for sure. And then the fall, we'll try to do some more stuff. Like Masters Fitness Collective. Maybe we'll try to get to like Wadapalooza SoCal. Some of those things. And maybe we'll just start picking up more in the fall as opposed to doing the semifinal season this year. So I'll just be watching all the streams from 4 different locations and covering everything from that perspective. And again, I have Youssef is going to be at Syndicate taking pictures and doing video. So you'll see some collaborations with him and I this weekend on all of that stuff. So we will have a presence there. But other than that, it looks like I'm out for this weekend. And then we'll just pick things up in the fall. And thank you so much, Kenneth. And ain't no thing, just hang in the chat with the rest of us. And Jay Birch says family first, of course. Yeah, and I knew that coming into the season, It doesn't mean I don't have FOMO, but because I do, but my wife comes first for sure. And Kenneth says, hang in the chat. When I watch events on live events, podcast, I'll be in the chat. Live events, I cannot look at the chat. I'm truly watching to analyze what's happening, and so I can talk about it with Jamie and Carolyn on Sunday night. And it's really hard for me to get if we're in between events, I may dive into the chat a little bit to see kind of what everybody's talking about. But for the most part, on the streams, I'm just watching the event itself. So I'll be watching everything that I can watch this weekend. We'll be talking about it with Jamie and Carolyn on Sunday night, of course, and we'll break down everything we saw, who got their tickets, who didn't, and we'll see what's happening. Jody Lynn, every party needs a breather. I'm sure you'll look and get a new perspective. Yeah, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see where this takes my wife back to being fully healthy again, and her to be able to come with me to events and to help me do some different things, have different angles with the camera, things like that. I can't wait till that happens again. So there's my announcement for Syndicate Crown. And then we'll be hitting the circuit next year again for sure. And probably this fall a little bit here and there. So there's that. I'm the last couple minutes, I'm going to open it up. You guys can ask me a question. Anything that you want about what's going on in space, about my personal life, about anything like that. I'm here to answer questions today. Just have a little bit of fun before we check out. But if you have some, I'll wait for you guys to come up with some in the chat. But until then, my wife and I started watching Yellowstone again to finish off the 5th season, which is the last season that's out there. And it's a really different perspective having a daughter living in Montana and watching that show now. And actually having been in Montana myself. And it's been really fun kind of watching that show with that perspective, now seeing Montana and knowing that my daughter lives there. Who I actually got to talk to right before I came down here today. And she's going on another hike today to some waterfalls, and so excited to get the pictures back from all this stuff she's doing. But really excited for her and really happy for her. Kenneth says, you guys hit everything last night. It doesn't have to be about CrossFit. It can be about anything in the world. Last night when I was done with the show, I have to upload the audio version to get it out there on like Spotify and iTunes and all of that stuff. And so I have to make another thumbnail. I have to get the audio up. I have to do some finishing touches on everything. And I put the Knicks Pacers game on last night. And that is the most basketball I've watched all season on the men's side. And what a game, man. Karl Anthony Towns was on fire at the end of that game. Really fun to watch. I just love when athletes elevate to that level of dominance in a moment. And it was really fun to watch. Really fun to watch. And the Knicks needed it, or they were going to be out of the playoffs soon, for sure. Kenneth says, you think Sprague can repeat? I do. I think he has improved immensely where he had holes, and he does have events that he can be dominant at. He's a really good runner. He's a really good swimmer. If those things ever come back into play, I think that he will dominate those events. Because the people that have dominated him in the past, like Fikowski and Koski, are no longer in the field. And I really think that I think he could. I think he's getting good enough at the other stuff that he will contend for the title for a few years now. I think the only thing that will stop James Sprague is James Sprague himself. I think he gets bored easily, and so he tries so many different things. And like the example this year is him and his coach has had to talk him down from doing a triathlon. Instead of training for the games, he wants to go do a triathlon. And I think his coach has convinced him that that is not what's best for this season. So it's those types of things I think will prevent James Sprague from competing, not his CrossFit ability, but his wanting to go try other things. The guy qualified for world championships in high rocks. And he had to make the decision not to do that and to focus on his training for the CrossFit Games. It's those things that I think could get in his way because he's so talented in certain areas that he's going to have other opportunities to do things. And he has to make the decision if this is his sole focus and that he wants to, if he wants to keep doing this over and over again. Jody Lynn, would you like to do any swimming for supplemental exercise? I can't wait to swim laps in my pool, but it's grueling. I would like to. Finding a pool to be able to do that is the difficult part for me here. There aren't a lot of pools available for that, but I have noticed that the rehab center where I go get my allergy shots every Wednesday has like a 2-lane lap pool. And I may look into how much it would cost to get a membership to that, because they do sell memberships to that gym, which is it's a hospital system here in Columbus, but it's their rehab center. And they have the pool and they have a lot of like the machine type equipment around, treadmills and ellipticals and all of that stuff, plus the lifting machines. Definitely not a CrossFit gym, but it does have the pool availability, and I need to look into whether that's something that I can fit into my budget or not. But the fact that now in Ohio, you can use your health savings account to be able to pay for that stuff may make that a better opportunity for me. So yeah, it is grueling, but eventually, like, your body gets used to it. The problem with swimming is it uses muscles that you don't really use in a lot of other ways. And so those muscles hurt a lot in the first few weeks that you're swimming. If you stay consistent with that, that all goes away and it becomes less grueling. And I know that's hard to trust in, but it does happen. There's a lot of small muscles that come into play when you're doing just basic swimming that you don't use in like a typical CrossFit gym or CrossFit workout. But so you just have to use them for a few weeks to get them kind of back into shape and back into play. And then the gruelingness kind of goes away. And then the real big key with swimming is you have to figure out how to breathe. Once you learn to breathe where you don't have to turn so much, it takes away a lot of the grueling part of the stroke. And that's a conversation I had with like Hattie Canyo, is that like she was breathing way too high. like turning her head really high to get a breath. You have to learn to breathe in the bow wave. And what that is if you ever see a boat go across the water, there's a bow wave that happens. And in that, it's a small little wave that actually creates a divot in the water where the boat is. When you're swimming fast enough, your head is the point of the bow of the boat. And you actually create a mini bow wave that comes back the body as you're swimming. And when that divot then occurs in the water, you just have to turn a little bit to get free air to breathe in. And the less you turn your head, the more streamlined your body stays throughout the stroke. And then you actually become more efficient in the water and it becomes less grueling. And that is the major mistake that most CrossFit athletes have when I watch them swim is they breathe really high, and that means their back shoulder dips down in the water. You become way less streamlined. That means you're pulling against the water instead of trying to stay symmetrical and smooth. And then it becomes really grueling and physically demanding because you're not staying on top of the water in a very streamlined position. But I would love to get back to doing that again. I just have to find the right opportunity to be able to do that. So, is that all the questions for me? And I'm sorry if I went into way too much detail on the swimming thing. That's just the life I lived for so many years. Eating my Jell-O Knox blocks and swimming for hours a day. I kind of understand the James Sprague thing, and I'll finish with this. When I was a swimmer, I swam high school and I swam YMCA. So the high school meets would be like on Mondays and Thursdays, I think. And the YMCA swimming meets would be on Saturday. And then periodically you'd have an invitational where you could go to like a meet and you signed up and you paid to enter multiple different events. So when you swam high school, when I swam, there was a rule. You could swim 2 individual events, 1 relay. And if you were a decent swimmer, you swam 2 individual events and a relay. On the typical YMCA meet, when you're going against another team, the same rule applied. You could swim 2 individual events and 1 relay. When you went to an invitational, you could sign up for whatever you wanted to sign up for. So I would go to an invitational and I didn't want to be bored, especially in later years of my like freshman, sophomore, junior year of high school. I swam freestyle for everything and it was all distance and I'd be so bored with it. So when I go to an invitational, I would sign up for everything and I would swim every single event to see how I could do in the events I didn't get to swim so much during the year. I would sign up for the breaststroke event. I would sign up for the butterfly event. I would sign up for the backstroke event. I would do the IM. And then I would do all the freestyles. And that's how those are the events I really enjoyed. But those are the events that I would house the Jell-O Knox blocks because I am swimming so much during the day at such a high intensity that I needed to get calories into my system as quickly as I could and I would get an upset stomach if I ate normal food because my nerves would just be like churning all day. So that's why I would eat Knox blocks all day long. And basically just Jell-O square after Jell-O square after Jell-O square. And that would keep me going through those long invitational days. But that's the most fun I ever had swimming is when I would just sign up for everything and try to win as many medals and plaques or ribbons or whatever as I could throughout the day. But Yeah, that's how it worked. And I did that because I was bored. And that's why I kind of translate that to James Sprague. It seems to me like he gets bored with things and he just wants to sign up for something different to get his mind in a different direction for a period of time. And I think that's the only thing stopping him from repeating. Is that perception of boredom that could come through over time. So, well, thank you for the fun questions. I hope you all have an amazing Memorial Day. I hope you have an amazing picnic with really good food. And with that, guys, I'm not going to send you back to work today because you have the day off. It's Memorial Day. If you're here in the States, if you're in another country and you have to go back to work, my apologies. With that, we will see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.